Back in the year 2013, we knew Retro Studios was cooking something up for the Nintendo Wii U, but its identity was shrouded in mystery. Was it to be a new Metroid, a revival of a long-forgotten Nintendo IP, a brand new IP? We didn't know. What we did know is that Retro is held with high regards by Nintendo fans with their fantastic track record, so finding out what they were up to was a cause for excitement. Then Nintendo let loose the bombshell for E3 2013, announcing that Retro was hard at work on Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, ultimately causing some mixed reactions.
Yes! Really?
To be honest, I wasn't all too enamored over its announcement. I mean, we just had Returns 3D released on the 3DS. But after a couple delays, Tropical Freeze is finally gracing its presence on the Wii U, and the Furry Ape's latest platform affair is definitely worth checking out. Things are starting to get a little bit chilly on DK Island when the vile Snowmads, who at one glance ooze more charm than the Tiki Tak tribe, toot their horns, turning Donkey Kong's homeland into a winter wonderland. Donkey, Diddy, Dixie, and yes, even Cranky will need to venture forth through a series of 6 islands to reclaim their home and give the Snowmads the good old boot. As a sequel to Donkey Kong Country Returns, it has a bar set for itself, and without a doubt, Tropical Freeze hits that and improves and expands on its predecessor in every way. Gameplay, graphics, and music, it's all better. Unlike the new Super Mario Bros. Series that features levels that seem like quick tile placements, Tropical Freeze is much more organic, with the stages designed to be dynamic. You'll be rampaging across pirate ships, riding a rhino through a tornado, hitching a ride on some windmills, and much more. Stagnant stages won't be found, with the scenery constantly changing, with platforms breaking away, the environment falling apart, or even background hazards falling into the foreground. You never know what to expect, constantly keeping you on your toes. And to add even more depth to Donkey Kong Country and harkening back to the original game on the Super Nintendo, water stages make their glamorous return, creating a whole new layer to experience as DK and friends dive bomb into the deep blue sea and spiral back out onto dry land. In the world of video games, water segments aren't always the most well liked, and even though they might not be my favorite feature in this game, Retro has managed to execute them well. They are interwoven with the land segments, and DK's maneuverability through the water has been optimized, giving him a nice fluid 360-degree movement. Now, one of the biggest ideas that Tropical Freeze brings to the table is the opportunity to use 3 different Kongs, each with their own distinct traits. Diddy offers an extra second of airtime with his jetpack just like in Returns, Dixie also floats for a brief second but grants a boost in height at the climax of her glide, and as the most unique of the trio, Cranky takes a page from Scrooge McDuck and pogo jumps around to safely hop on spiky platforms or enemies, all the while giving some extra height to his jump. Cranky may be one of the more technical characters, but he can be enjoyable to use once you figure him out. Plus, he is perfect for speedrunning as pogo jumping doesn't lose Donkey Kong's momentum from rolling. Now, don't get me wrong, all 3 of the Kongs are entertaining, but it just feels like Diddy Kong is being overshadowed in this entry. Diddy and Dixie's abilities are very similar to one another, but ultimately Dixie comes out on top with the little bump in altitude she gets, making Diddy's skill set feel kind of useless. I don't know, I just feel that Retro could have done more to differentiate Diddy from Dixie to make them both useful throughout the adventure. Now, as you might have heard, David Wise, who's the music composer of the original Donkey Kong Country, makes his triumphant return for Tropical Freeze, and he nails it. Unlike Returns, which doesn't have the most memorable soundtrack, Tropical Freeze dishes out some noteworthy little ditties, such as the mellow Windmill Hill, the calming aquatic ambience, the serious Scorchin' Torch, the epic Snowmads theme, and of course, the amazing Grassland groove that is, well, just too awesome. And though Tropical Freeze may not be the biggest leap in terms of visuals compared to Returns, it's still pleasing to the eye. You've got numerous different locales to feast upon, with some well put together scenery with the inclusion of mounds of lush foliage and detailed backgrounds. Probably my favorite visually is one of the first shadow levels you encounter. The fog and overabundance of green mixed in with HD, adding a level of sharpness and clarity, creates something that can only be described as fantastic. Plus, I can't fail to mention the Kong's new cuddly fur that sways to and fro and looks so soft like they went overboard on some conditioner. Though Tropical Freeze may only have 6 worlds compared to Return's 8 worlds, its levels are actually quite lengthy, taking a number of minutes to complete each stage. Plus, the Kong letters are back and waiting to be found, along with a plethora of puzzle pieces tucked away in secret spots. And if that wasn't enough, there are even several stages that feature secret exits to unlock even more levels, and you can even take a stab at the time trials and compete against other real-life players through the game's online leaderboards. So needless to say, each stage packs a good amount of content, and factored in with dying numerous times from the game's fun but challenging difficulty, you'll be stashing away over a dozen hours. So with Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, you're looking at a very well-assembled platformer that is definitely worthy of being noted. Retro expanded upon its predecessor and made a game that is better better all around. The dynamics of Tropical Freeze's level designs blow the new Super Mario Bros. Series out of the water, offering a more living, breathing world. Now, one of my only gripes about this game is that Diddy and Dixie's movesets are really similar, with Dixie ultimately being the better of the two, making Diddy feel kind of useless. But other than that, Tropical Freeze is a blast to play as you monkey around, pounce on some enemies, gracefully swim through the deep blue sea, and carefully make some well-timed jumps. So in all, thegamingpixelshow.com is awarding Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze with a 4.5 out of 5. And if you like what you saw, please give it a thumbs up and add your favorites and all that good stuff, and you can stay tuned for more video reviews along with my news videos and That's on Meverse episodes. But I will talk to you later in the next video, guys. Bye!